sharp analysis, uncut views, diverse opinions.
News at 5 in association with Accoland Amusement Park, Annapurna Foods, Junior Holics, and Biz Farm Biscuits.
Enforcement Directorate heat on Rahul Gandhi continues. Congress Scion grilled for third day in National Herald case. Congress workers take to streets. Top party leaders detained. Senior police officer injured in alleged violence during Congress protest in Guwahati. Assam police says a lawful action will be initiated against perpetrators. Daredevil rescue operations by forces caught on camera in rain-battered Sikkim. 8 civilians buried under debris rescued at 17 Mile in Gangtok. Heavy downpour also triggers fresh landslides in Meghalaya. Heavy rainfall continues to batter Assam. Situation remains to be grim in Guwahati. Authorities make all-out efforts to drain excess water. People still under shelter in relief camps. Tuliram Ronghang to lead new Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council. CEM including other members to take oath on June 20th. Assam BJP sets its eyes on 2024 Lok Sabha elections. The Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma makes strong development pitch, indicates peace and development to be BJP's agenda. Hello and welcome to Northeast Live. I am Pooja and we start the bulletin with the first reactions coming in from Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma on the prevailing flood situation in Guwahati. Well, talking exclusively to our Chief of Bureau Arindam Das, Chief Minister Sharma said that the situation is grim. Chief Minister Sharma said that the state is receiving more rainfall than the previous years, which he termed it as a new challenge. Besides, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma said that his government is working on measures to bring the situation to a normal at the earliest. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Sharma said that the focus right now is on relief and rehabilitation. In addition to this, Chief Minister Sharma said that the situation in Guwahati and Dima, Hasao is a matter of concern. So big story at this point in time, viewers, and first reactions have come in from Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma on the prevailing flood situation in Guwahati. Talking exclusively to our Chief of Bureau Arindam Das, Chief Minister Sharma said that the situation is grim and the state is receiving more rainfall than the previous years, which he termed it as a new challenge. Besides, the Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma said that his government is working on measures to bring the situation to a normal at the earliest. Meanwhile, Sharma said that a focus right now is on relief and rehabilitation. In addition to this, Chief Minister Sharma said that the situation in Guwahati and Dima, Hasao is a matter of concern.
Your reaction to Guwahati floods?
I think this time we are getting heavy rainfall, unprecedented rainfall. The situation is grim. So we have to analyze what more we can do. Last 3-4 years, we get less rain and distributed rain. But this time by June, we got rain double than the last year. So this is a new challenge before us. We never estimated that so much rainfall can happen. So Dima, Hasao and Guwahati is a difficult situation, but immediately after the flood we'll analyze and we'll try to see that how we can bring more changes, more improvement.
What measures will be taken or has been taken for this?
Immediately now relief, restoration and management. But once flood is over, we have to see that how long-term systematic improvement we can bring in.
Thank you very much. That was Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma talking exclusively to Northeast Live. Reporting from Difu, this is Arindam Das for Northeast Live.
And shifting focus to a big story from Sikkim now. Well, the state has reported its first rain-related casualty as one person succumbed to injury after being buried under debris due to heavy landslide. The incident has been reported from 17 Mile in Gangtok. At least 8 civilians were buried under the debris. However, in a swift and proactive action, the army executed a rescue mission to evacuate the civilians. Incessant rainfall since last 2 days in the area caused havoc, and the camp set up by the National Highway authorities at 17 Mile suffered heavy landslide. On receiving the input, troops of the 36th Medium Regiment swung into action and rescued 8 civilians in a rapid move. All of them were treated at the nearest military hospital. However, one of them succumbed to his injury at the military hospital. It's a big story at this point in time, viewers, from the state of Sikkim. Well, the state has reported its first rain-related casualty as one person succumbed to injury after being buried under debris due to heavy landslide. The incident has been reported from 17 Mile in Gangtok, and at least 8 civilians were buried under the debris. However, in a swift and proactive action, the army executed a rescue mission to evacuate the civilians. Incessant rainfall since last 2 days in the area caused havoc, and the camp set up by the National Highway authorities at 17 Mile suffered heavy landslide. On receiving the input, troops of the 36th Medium Regiment swung into action and rescued 8 civilians in a rapid move. All of them were treated at the nearest military hospital. However, one of them succumbed to his injury at the military hospital. All right, my colleague Prakash Adhikari joins us over the phone line to give us the latest on this big breaking news coming in from Sikkim. Well, Prakash, as rescue operations were underway and 8 civilians were evacuated, but unfortunately, one person succumbed to the injuries while taking to the hospital. More details from your side.
Yes, first, the death incident happened in Sikkim for the landslide. As per the army report, Indian Army executed a rescue mission to evacuate 8 civilian buried under debris and landslide at 13 Mile area. 13 Mile area means this is the Nathula Road, and heavy rain since last 2 days in this area and caused havoc, and the camp set up by the National Highway authorities at 17 miles suffered heavy landslide. These 8 person, all are the laborers. They are working for the National Highway, and one person already dead in army hospital. He succumbed in his injuries, and his last breath in the army hospital. This is the first death case reported in Sikkim for the landslide.
Absolutely. Prakash, now camps has been set up by the National Highway authorities at 17 Mile, which suffered a heavy landslide. So is there any other rescue operations underway at this point in time?
No such rescue operation going on now. Only 8 person are evacuated from this area. And as per the authorities report, only 8 persons are buried under the debris and the landslide, and no other person are there. So no other any rescue operation going on there.
Now, Prakash, what are the measures being taken by the administration out there?
Yes, last 2-3 days heavy rainfall here. So already state government allotted to disaster management and local police and local administration, and now so some parts of the area are cut off for the landslide, basically in national highway Bordang area and South Sikkim area. Now, still South Sikkim cut off the another part of the state, and lots of landslide that happened in South Sikkim, basically in Bormek area, Singtam area, and also mining area. Two major bridges are damages in mining, and Shirwani bridges are damages. So now South Sikkim also cut off, still now cut off, and now national highway is open, but state government directed to all the authorities to for alert.
Giving us those details at this point in time. And well, be it two-wheelers or even luxury cars, floods in Guwahati have spared none. Now, considered to be the gateway to the northeast, the region's largest city has seemingly donned the characteristics of the Italian city Venice, with the residents in almost all areas waking up to water outside their homes. The only difference, well, in Guwahati, the situation is way too unpleasant, courtesy the floods. Authorities in Guwahati are working round the clock to reach out to the flood-affected people in parts of the city. The GMC has deployed as many as 17 water pumps to drain out the excess water from streets and roads, even as more pumps are being borrowed from the ASDMA to step up the process. GMC Commissioner Debashish Sharma informed that people from multiple affected areas, including Anil Nagar and Nabi Nagar, who were willing to shift have been relocated to safer places. Now, Sharma added that due to slight improvement in the flood scenario, many people were also returning home.
ৰাতিপুৱাৰ ভাগত যিখিনি মানুহ আমাৰ এই এলেকাৰ যিখিনিয়ে তেওঁলোকক স্থানান্তৰ কৰোৱা হৈছিলে, তলৰ মহলটোত যিখিনি মানুহ থাকে তেওঁলোকৰ যিসকলৰ আত্মীয় স্বজন গুৱাহাটীত আছে তেওঁলোকে নিৰ্দিষ্ট জাগালৈ তেওঁলোকক লৈ যাবলৈ কোৱা হৈছিলে। ইয়াৰ পৰা নাৱেৰে তেওঁলোকক লৈ যোৱা হৈছিলে আৰু বহু সংখ্যক লোক তেওঁলোকে ঘৰৰ ওপৰত নিজৰ ধৰি লওক তলৰ মহলাত থাকে, তেওঁলোকৰ ওপৰৰ মহলালৈ তেওঁলোক গুচি গৈছিলে। আজিৰ দিনটোত কৰিবলগীয়া কামখিনি হ'ল তেওঁলোকক যিখিনি পৰ্যাপ্ত বস্তুৰ যিখিনি প্ৰয়োজন আছে সেইখিনি আমি যোগান ধৰিব লাগিব আৰু গুৱাহাটীৰ যোনবোৰ জাগাত ধৰি লওক পানী সম্পূৰ্ণভাৱে নামি গৈছে ৰাস্তাবিলাকত, তাত পাম্পেৰে পানীখিনি উলিয়াই আমি সেই ঘৰবিলাকৰ পৰা এতিয়া ডাউন টাউন হস্পিটেলৰ পিছপিনে লওক বা হাতীগাঁও লওক, বহুত জাগাত এনেকুৱা আমি খবৰ পাইছোঁ বা আমি গৈ পেলাই তাত দেখিছোঁ যে ৰাস্তাত পানী নাই আৰু যদি ডিপ্ৰেশ্যন আছে তাত পাম্পেদি পানীখিনি উলিয়াই দিব পৰা যাব। সেইখিনি জাগাত এতিয়ালৈকে 17টা পাম্প চলি আছে গুৱাহাটীৰ বিভিন্ন জাগাত। সেই পাম্পখিনি সম্পূৰ্ণভাৱে হেৰি কৰা হৈছে, যোজনা হৈছে। ডিজাষ্টাৰ মেনেজমেণ্টৰ তৰফৰ পৰা ত্ৰিপাঠী ছাৰে আমাক আৰু পাম্প দিব বুলি কৈছে। তো আমি গুৱাহাটীত আৰু কিছুমান পাম্পৰ ব্যৱহাৰ কৰিম আৰু অনিল নগৰ, নবীন নগৰ এৰিয়াটোত য'ত ৰাস্তাত এতিয়াও পানী আছে সেইখিনিত যিসকল আমাৰ ইয়াৰ বাসিন্দা আছে তেওঁলোকে যদি তেওঁলোকক স্থানান্তৰ কৰাটো বিচাৰিছে তাৰ গোটেইখিনি আয়োজন কৰা যাব।
Meanwhile, the GMC also exuded confidence that it is well equipped to reach out to and relocate flood-affected people in any part of the city.
আজিৰ দিনটোত যদি ভয়ংকৰভাৱে আৰু বেছিকৈ বৰষুণ আহে তেওঁলোকক স্থানান্তৰ কৰি যিসকল এতিয়া সৰহ সংখ্যক লোক কিন্তু তেওঁলোক গুচি গৈছে, কিন্তু ইয়াতকৈও যদি ভয়াৱহ পৰিস্থিতিৰ সৃষ্টি হয় আমাৰ দায়িত্ব এয়াই যে তেওঁলোকক আমি স্থানান্তৰ কৰি নিৰাপদে তেওঁলোকক এটা ভাল জাগা এটুকুৰাত আমি তেওঁলোকক ৰখাৰ ব্যৱস্থা কৰিব লাগিব আৰু তাৰ বাবে আমি সম্পূৰ্ণভাৱে সাজু।
On the other hand, authorities are keeping a close watch on the flood situation in Guwahati, with overnight rain keeping people living in vulnerable areas on the edge. While waterlogging remained in several parts of the city yesterday, the overnight drizzle has not helped things improve. The NDRF and the SDRF continue to remain on standby through the night in flood-prone areas. At least 640 people are taking shelter in over half a dozen relief camps in Kamrup Metro. As per Kamrup Metro DC, there are no fresh reports of any casualty due to landslides or floods in any part of the district. Meanwhile, as a precautionary measure, the district administration directed all educational institutes in Kamrup Metropolitan to remain closed for the day. Meanwhile, the Met Department had yesterday issued a red alert for Assam till June 16th. It may be mentioned here that at least 5 people lost their lives in the floods and landslides in Guwahati yesterday, prompting the district administration to issue an advisory urging people not to venture out of their houses unless essential. Besides, those living in landslide-prone areas have also been asked to temporarily shift to safer locations. Not only this, the Kamrup Metro District Administration is also assessing the situation in the hilly areas of the city, especially areas which are thickly populated. Relief camps have also been set up to shelter affected people, and essentials are being supplied to those in need. Water is being pumped out from areas like Anil Nagar, which have been worst affected by flash flood. Drinking water is being supplied to people confined to their homes in some of the worst flood-affected areas.
কিছুমান মানুহ আছে য'ত কোনো ল'ৰা মানুহ নাই মানে বিছনাৰ ওপৰত ইটা লগাই পেলাই বিছনাত লৈ গৈছে তাতে ওপৰত মানে উঠি আছে পানী নাই ফোনৰ ৰাতিপুৱাৰ পৰা হিচাপ নাই কিমান ফোন আহিছে পানী লাগে ট্ৰেক্টৰখন আহি পাইছে এতিয়া মানে ট্ৰেক্টৰত বাদে ইয়াতে খুচকাৰিতো যোৱাৰ উপায় নাই নাও নচলে মানে মেচিৰ তলত ফেনখন লাগি যায় গতিকে ট্ৰেক্টৰ আমি লৈছো ৰাতি 12টা বজালৈকে মই নিজে পানী বিলাইছো এতিয়াও ওলাই আহিছো আৰু ৰাজৰ যিখিনি পাৰো আৰু সেৱা কৰিব যাক যেনেকে পাৰো পানীখিনি দিওৱাৰ কাৰণে পানীখিনি লোড হৈ আছে এতিয়া আমি পানী লৈ ওলাই যাম
Meanwhile, the flood situation has also affected supply of electricity in certain areas, with residents calling for help.
অসুবিধা মানে এনেকুৱা অসুবিধাৰ কোনে কেনেকৈ পাব দেখাটো পাইছে ষ্টুডেণ্ট হৈ ক্লাছ যাব পৰা নাই কলেজ যাব পৰা নাই এনেকৈ কোচিং যাব পৰা নাই ঘৰ পলাব লগা হৈছে এনেকৈ ৰাখেনে গুৱাহাটী নিচিনা জাগাত নাই খোৱা লোৱাৰ কেনেকৈ পাইছোঁ আমি এন্ধাৰত গোটেই ৰাতি এন্ধাৰত কালি ৰাতি কাৰেণ্ট নাই 24 আৱাৰ্ছ কাৰেণ্ট নাই পানী চানি পাইছেন নাই পানী নাই আমাৰতো পানী মটৰ দি উঠে কাৰেণ্ট নহ'লে মটৰ দি পানী ঘৰলৈ যাওঁ এতিয়া কি কৰিম আৰু উপায় নাই নগাঁও কারেন্ট নাই এই কারণে পানি উঠাব না পারে এই ফ্ল্যাটটোৰ ভিতরে 30 ঘর ফ্যামিলি আছে বাচ্চা আছে ইয়া আছে স্কুলত যাব না পারে আজি অলপমান পানী হলে ইয়াত অলপমান বৰষুণ হলে ইয়াত পানী হৈ যায় এতে ফ্ল্যাটের ভিতরে আমি জলবন্ধ হৈ আছো 3 দিন হৈছে 2 দিন হৈছে বুঝছে কথা গতিকে আমি এতিয়া বাজার টাজার বাইরে যাওয়ার কারণে এখন নাই লৰা ছোৱালী সব ঘৰত সোমাই আছে
On the other hand, Guwahati Mayor Mrigan Saradia is also on ground taking stock of the situation. Take a look.
गुवाहाटी में बहुत ज़्यादा बारिश हो गया है बारिश के कारण हम लोग का जो ये नीचे जगह है वहाँ में पानी ज़्यादा हो रहा है और जहाँ में पानी था कल से हम लोग ये निकल चुका है अभी जहाँ जहाँ पानी होता है हर साल वहाँ का रिलीफ देने के लिए हम लोग जा रहा है ये पानी जल्दी से जल्दी निकल देने के लिए जीएमसी कोशिश कर रहा है
जैसे कि इलेक्शन कैंपेन में आप लोगों ने वादा किया था कि बाढ़ मुक्त गुवाहाटी बाढ़ मुक्त असम
नहीं बाढ़ मुक्त नहीं बारिश होने से पानी जमा होंगे वो पानी जल्दी से जल्द निकल देने का हम लोग का कोशिश है वो वाला हम कर रहा है जो पासुका हम लोग का जो ड्रेन ये नदी है नदी से पानी जा रहा है भरोली से भी नदी पानी जा रहा है लेकिन बारिश का कारण बारिश ज़्यादा हो गया यहाँ में लगभग 133 mm बारिश हो गया कल और ये 42 शतक वो ज़्यादा है हमारा नॉर्मल बारिश के कारण इसीलिए वो ये वाला सिनेरियो देखा जा रहा है
And reports of more landslides have come to fore from different parts of Guwahati. As per reports, a portion of the area near the TV tower in Kahilipara has collapsed, while another landslide has been reported from the Gandhi Mandap area in Ulubari. So another reports of landslide has been coming in. Well, More landslides have come to fore from different parts of Guwahati, and as per reports, a portion of the area near the TV tower in Kahilipara has collapsed, while another landslide has been reported from the Gandhi Mandap area in Ulubari.
এটা ঠিক ৰাতিপুৱা 5টামান বজাত বৰষুণ দি আছিলে তেতিয়া বৰষুণ দিয়াৰ পিছত মই যেতিয়া উঠিব লৈছিলো আৰু এনেকে মই একদম যেতিয়া ঘুমকে এটা শব্দ পালো শব্দ পেলাই মই একদম দৌৰ মাৰি গুচি গলো দৌৰ মাৰি গৈছে দেখিছো উঠি দেখি দৰ্জা খুলি উঠি দেখিছো একদম পুৰা ৱাল ভাঙি আছে আমি মানে কোনো মতে ভগৱানৰ কৃপাত মানে বাচিলো আৰু এনেকুৱা আৰু তেওঁৰ চেয়াৰমেন আছিলে জেএমডি চেয়াৰমেন আছিলে ফাৰুক মান্নান এনেকুৱা কিবা এটা ফানুন মান্নাক আছিলে আৰু তেওঁৰ পুতেকে লৈছিলে তেওঁৰ ঠিকাদাৰ তেওঁৰ পুতেকে লৈছিলে তেওঁৰ পুতেকৰ ঠিক নামটো মই এতিয়া নাজানো তেওঁৰ পুতেকে লৈছিলে ঠিকাদাৰ আৰু মিস্ত্ৰী হওক বা এটা ঠিকাদাৰ হওক বা তেওঁলোকে আমাৰ তাৰমানে ৰাইজৰ মানে কোনো কথাই নুশুনে ৰাইজে মানুহে কৈছে বোলে নহয় বস্তুটো এনেকুৱাহে হ'ব লাগিছিলে এনেকে নাই কাৰো কথা নকৰে নুশুনে তাৰমানে এনেকুৱা তেওঁলোকৰ নিজৰ মানে গাফিলতি আৰু কি দেখিছে ৰড দেখিছে নে একদম অকণ ৰড একদম খিনখিনে ৰড নাই এইখিনি পোষ্টে নাই ইয়াত পোষ্টটো কিমান দূৰে আছে এই এনেকুৱা অৱস্থা একদম খুব মানে কামটো মানে বহুত মানে খেলি মেলি কৰি থৈ গৈছে বহুত মানে ইয়াত কৰাপশ্যনটো বেছি হৈছে আমাৰতো 30,000 আমাৰ বাইদেউ নম্বৰ 30,000 মান টকা গৈছে এইফালে 30,000 আৰু কিছুমানে চিমেণ্ট দিছে কিছুমানে মিস্ত্ৰী খৰচ হেৰি দিছে চিমেণ্ট দিছে এনে আমি 4 ঘৰ 5 ঘৰ মানৰ পৰা বস্তু লৈছে কিন্তু আমাক পইচাটো ৰিটাৰ্ণ কৰিম বুলি ক'লে আজিলৈকে নকৰিলে আমি তেওঁৰ ঘৰতো গৈছিলো ঘৰটো আমাক মানে ভাল ব্যৱহাৰ মানে খুব বেয়া আৰু নাই পইচা দি আজিলৈকে উন্ধামেই নাইকিয়া আৰু আমাক ঘূৰাই দিম বুলি তেওঁ নিজে আহিবলৈ ক'লে নিজে আহি পেলাই আহিছিলে
Incessant rainfall has wreaked havoc in Dima, Hasao, triggering landslides at many locations of the national highway. Well, a S-turn, which was earlier damaged, again washed out. Meanwhile, the road stretch between Kelolo and Jatinga has also been damaged due to heavy landslides. Road communication between Haflong and Maibang has also been disrupted. Many places like Haflong, Maibang, Harangajao remains to be cut off from the rest of the district as there is no let-up in rainfall. All right, so big story at this point in time coming in from Dima, Hasao, where incessant rainfall has wreaked havoc in Dima, Hasao, triggering landslides at many locations of the national highway. S-turn, which was earlier damaged, again washed out, and meanwhile, the road stretch between Kelolo and Jatinga has also been damaged due to heavy landslides. Road communication between Haflong and Maibang has also been disrupted. Many places like Haflong, Maibang, Harangajao remains to be cut off from the rest of the district as there is no let-up in rainfall. Meanwhile, our colleague Swadeep Hasamsa, braving the heavy downpour, was on ground zero to highlight the entire situation. Let's listen in.
इन दिनों डिमा हासो में बारिश के कारण देखा जाए तो बहुत सारा जगह में रोड ब्लॉकेज हुआ है और सिलचर और हाफलोंग के बीच जो रोड है वो भी पूरी तरह से ब्लॉक है जैसे और जहाँ गुवाहाटी और हाफलोंग का जो रोड कनेक्टिविटी है वो भी फिलहाल धीरे धीरे ब्लॉक होने जा रहा है और इसमें मैं नया डेवलपमेंट दिखाना चाह रहा हूँ ये जो है ये जठिंगा का जो मेन पॉइंट के सामने में ही है ये यहाँ का सिलचर जो हाफलोंग जो रोड जो है वहाँ में दामचरा डिमूचोरा ऐसा बहुत सारा लोकेशन में जहाँ रास्ता वॉश आउट हो जाने की वजह से रोड जो है पूरी तरह से ब्लॉक है और कोई भी गाड़ी आना जाना भी फिलहाल बंद पड़ा हुआ है और एक तरफ लंका हाफलोंग रोड अभी भी पिछली बार जब 14 तारीख को जब जून मई महीने में जब हुआ था भूस्खलन हुआ बारिश के कारण उसकी वजह से वो अभी तक भी रिस्टोरेशन नहीं हो पाया उसके कारण लोगों को में काफी तकलीफ भी था और उसके साथ में इन 3 दिनों से यहाँ डिमा हासो में बारिश देने की वजह से और भी ज्यादा जो है लोगों के बीच में मुसीबतें बढ़ गया है और अगर ऐसा बारिश देता रहा तो शायद और बहुत ही डिमा हासो का लोगों के लिए बहुत आगे मुसीबतें खड़ा हो सकता है
Meanwhile, a mother-son duo sustained a serious injury after being struck by lightning at Bethel village. The injured victims were rushed to the Haflong Civil Hospital and are now stated to be in stable situation.
मेरा वाइफ तो सुबह अर्ली 4 बजे में उठ के खाना पकाने के लिए मतलब रेडी है तो बर्तन साफ करके डाइनिंग टेबल में रखा है तो फोन चार्ज किया तो चार्ज करने का टाइम में अचानक मतलब लाइटनिंग हो के मेरा वाइफ तो इसका चेस्ट से लेके मतलब पूरा फटा दिया है। हाँ, तो हम लोग का बेरा में भी मतलब इसका कपड़ा का टुकड़ा टुकड़ा तो बेरा में पूरा लग गया, तो बेहोश होके गिर गया वो। ये करंट का तार भी पूरा गायब हो गया, एक टुकड़ा भी नहीं मिला। और मेरा घर का स्विच बोर्ड से लेके पूरा फटा दिया है। मेरा घर का सीमेंट भी पूरा सफाई हुआ है, मतलब लाइनिंग जाने का रास्ता, और सीमेंट भी फटाई के मतलब ब्लास्ट का जैसे है।
And with that, we take a short break. Stay tuned for more news.
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
সুগন্ধ ৰং আৰু সোৱাদ খাতি এভৰিডে জিভাত দিয়ে আসল জুতি এভৰিডে স্পাইচেছ 100% টেষ্ট এভৰিডে স্পাইচেছ বেষ্ট
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Here, gravity and physics don't call the shots, and sound travels slower than you. This is a different kind of place. That's why we're looking for different kind of people, for whom excellence is not a job, but a way of being, be it in the sky or on the ground. We are looking for an invincible team of invincible people, people who are a cut above.
Join the Indian Air Force to be a cut above.
Evening Prime.
Welcome back. And before moving to some other stories, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Enforcement Directorate heat on Rahul Gandhi continues. Congress scion grilled for third day in National Herald case. Congress workers take to streets. Top party leaders detained. Senior police officer injured in alleged violence during Congress protest in Guwahati. Assam police says lawful action will be initiated against perpetrators. Daredevil rescue operations by forces caught on camera in rain-battered Sikkim. 8 civilians buried under debris rescued at 17 Mile in Gangtok. Heavy downpour also triggers fresh landslides in Meghalaya. Heavy rainfall continues to batter Assam. Situation remains to be grim in Guwahati. Authorities make all-out efforts to drain excess water. People still under shelter in relief camps. Tuliram Ronghang to lead a new Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council, CEM including other members to take oath on June 20th. And Assam BJP sets its eyes on 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma makes strong development pitch, indicates peace and development to be BJP's agenda. And on to the big national story now. Well, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi appeared before the Enforcement Directorate today for the third consecutive day of questioning in the National Herald money laundering case. Well, Gandhi arrived at the ED headquarters on APJ Abdul Kalam Road in central Delhi around 11:35 a.m. with his Z+ category CRPF security escort. He was accompanied by his sister and Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Meanwhile, hundreds of Congress workers have hit the streets of Delhi and several senior leaders have been detained by police as they protested against the summons to Rahul and Sonia Gandhi in what the party alleges is a false case. As per latest inputs, a meeting of Congress leaders including K.C. Venugopal, Bhupesh Baghel, Randeep Surjewala and Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is underway at Congress headquarters over the issue of police's entry into the headquarters. Meanwhile, Mahila Congress workers in large numbers gathered at the protest site armed with placards to protest against Rahul Gandhi's Enforcement Directorate summon. Heavy police deployment and layers of barricades have been erected outside the Congress office in New Delhi. The police have detained several senior Congress leaders and Mahila Congress workers.
गुंडागर्दी की सब हदें पार कर अखिल भारतीय कांग्रेस कमेटी के कार्यालय में घुसकर कार्यकर्ताओं और नेताओं को मारना पीटना अब ये संयम की सब हदें पार कर गया है। दिल्ली पुलिस के वो कठपुतली अधिकारी भी जान लें कि ये याद रखा जाएगा और इसे चेतावनी मान लें कि इस गुंडागर्दी का हिसाब भी लिया जाएगा। हम गांधीवादी हैं, शांति प्रिय हैं, अहिंसक हैं, पर आप नेम प्लेट उतार कर अगर दफ्तर के दरवाजे तोड़कर गुंडागर्दी करेंगे तो फिर ये मत समझिए कि कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ता चुप बैठे रहेंगे। हमारा अखबार, हमारी पार्टी, हमारा पैसा हम चलाएं, बीजेपी के पेट में क्यों दर्द हो रहा है? ये दर्शाता है। ये 4 सवालों का जवाब दे दें। अखबार हमारा, नेशनल हेराल्ड, भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस हमारी, हमने हमारा पैसा हमारे अखबार को चलाने के लिए दिया। तुम कौन हो भैया खामख्वा?
ये सरकार आज इस हद तक पहुंच गए, लगता है कि ये गवर्नमेंट ऑफ द क्रिमिनल, फॉर द क्रिमिनल, बाय द क्रिमिनल। अगर ये क्रिमिनल ना होते तो प्रजातंत्र की धज्जियां उड़ाते हुए आज कांग्रेस पार्टी की दफ्तर के अंदर घुसते हुए इस तरीके से बेरहमी से कांग्रेस वालों के ऊपर डंडाबाजी नहीं करते। ये पुलिस खुद गुंडेगिरी और खुद क्रिमिनल क्राइम करते खुद पुलिस वालों ने, और इसका अगर कुछ बात कहे जाए तो ये हर वक्त हवाला देते हैं कि ऊपर की निर्देश है, मतलब सरकार की मोदी और अमित शाह की निर्देश पे ही ये लोग इस तरीके से इन्होंने काम कर रहे हैं कि हमारे दफ्तर के अंदर घुस के ये क्या हम टेररिस्ट है क्या? ये AICC हेडक्वार्टर क्या ये आतंकवादी की दफ्तर है?
देखिए, अब देश भी समझ चुकी है कि ईडी आज सिर्फ अमित शाह जी और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का एक मुखौटा बन गया है और देश भी आज इसको एक मजाक समझती है और ईडी कहीं ना कहीं उनकी जो छवि है उसी को नुकसान पहुंचा रही है। जिस प्रकार से एकदम ये राजनीतिकरण हो रहा है ईडी का, उससे कहीं ना कहीं देश की जो हमारी लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था है और देश में जो विपक्षी की जो शक्ति आज लोग चाहते हैं कि विपक्ष और शक्तिशाली हो, विपक्ष देश के जनता की आवाज को उठाएं, तो ये न कहीं जो एक राजा महाराजा जैसे स्वरूप हम प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का देख रहे हैं और अंत में अहंकार की हार होगी और सत्य की जीत होगी। वही तो हम पूछ रहे हैं कि जब जुडिशरी में ये केस चल रहा है, जुडिशरी को कोई सबूत नहीं मिला है, भाजपा के प्रवक्ताओं के पास कोई ठोस सबूत नहीं है, ईडी को तो हम जानते हैं कि ईडी बनता है सिर्फ विपक्षी दलों के लिए। ईडी ने कभी निष्पक्ष जांच दिखाई है, कभी भाजपा शासित प्रदेशों में गई है, कभी भाजपा के मुख्यमंत्री जो विभिन्न जो स्कैंडल्स और करप्शन में जुड़े हुए हैं क्या उनको पूछताछ के लिए बुलाई है? तो कहीं ना कहीं ये जो मामला है राजनीतिक है, ये सब जान चुकी है और ये देश भी जानता है।
Meanwhile, the Assam police has taken strong note of the alleged violence during the Congress protest in Guwahati, during which an ACP received injury. Well, taking to Twitter, Special DGP Law and Order GP Singh said that lawful action will be initiated against the perpetrators. ACP Dispur Himanshu Das was seen bleeding when he was hit below the eye during the Congress protest outside Rajiv Bhavan in Guwahati today. Well, talking to media persons, the policeman said that he was hit by the butt end of a party flag. The incident took place when scores of Congress workers gathered outside the Rajiv Bhavan to protest against Enforcement Directorate's summon against Rahul Gandhi.
বাহিৰী লগাইছে মাৰো বুলি মাৰিছে নি? বাহিৰী লগাইছে বাদেল লগাইছে টানাটানি কৰাত বাদেল লাগিছে এই যে ফ্লেগ লৈ আছিল ফ্লেগৰ সেই বাদ লাগিছে
Meanwhile, Assam Congress chief Bhupen Bora, who took part in the protest, was heard shouting slogans that police high-handedness will not be tolerated. But Bora, along with Congress supporters, were detained by the cops. And it's not just the AICC headquarters, but Congress workers and supporters also staged protests outside the premises of the parliament against the Enforcement Directorate's grilling of Rahul Gandhi. Take a look.
Justice! We want 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 justice! Don't put false.
Shifting focus now, well, after winning 8 successive elections since 2021, the latest being the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council polls, the BJP in Assam has set its eyes 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Well, that is the message coming out of the party's two-day executive meeting, where Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma made a strong developmental pitch, indicating that peace and development will be the party's main election agenda for 2024. In his address, Chief Minister Sharma urged upon the members to begin preparations for run-up to the Lok Sabha polls. And here, the Chief Minister used the famous phrase, "Ye dil mange more," and said that while the BJP secured a good share of votes in the last elections, the performance should be better in 2024.
কাৰ্যকৰ্তা বন্ধুসকলক লোকসভা নিৰ্বাচনৰ বাবে সাজু হ'বলৈ মই আহ্বান জনাম যোৱাবাৰ আমি অসমৰ পৰা ভাল ৰিজাল্ট কৰিছো 9টা সিট ভাল ৰিজাল্টৰ ভিতৰত পৰে কিন্তু মোদী ডাঙৰীয়াই অসমক যিমান দিছে আমি তেওঁক আৰু বেছি উভতাই দিব লাগিব প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী ডাঙৰীয়াক 2024 চনত 9টাৰ জায়গাত আমি 13টাত যাম 12টাত যাম 11টাত যাম মই একো নকওঁ কিন্তু ইয়ে দিল মাগে মোৰ 9টাৰ ওপৰত আমি যাব লাগিব কেনেকে যাম দুৰ্বল বুথসমূহক আমি চিনাক্ত কৰিব লাগিব প্ৰত্যেকজন বিধায়কক প্ৰত্যেকটো সমষ্টিলৈ দুৰ্বল বুথৰ তালিকা দিয়া হৈছে দুৰ্বল বুথসমূহত যোৱা নিৰ্বাচনত ভোট নোপোৱাৰ কাৰণসমূহ বিশ্লেষণ কৰক বিশেষকৈ মই এমপি সকলক অনুৰোধ কৰিম সূক্ষ্মভাৱে যদি আমি দুৰ্বল ভোটসমূহৰ বিশ্লেষণ কৰো আমি 9টাৰ ওপৰত যাব পাৰিম আৰু এই 9টাটো আমি মাৰ্জিন বঢ়াব পাৰিম দুৰ্বল বুথৰ বিশ্লেষণ অহা এটা বছৰত আমাৰ আটাইতকৈ ডাঙৰ সাংগঠনিক দায়িত্ব হ'ব আৰু দুৰ্বল বিশ্লেষণ কৰোতে সবল বিলাক যাতে দুৰ্বল হৈ না যায় সেইটোৰ প্ৰতিও দৃষ্টি আকৰ্ষণ কৰিব লাগিব
And our Chief of Bureau Arindam Das also caught up with Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma for an exclusive conversation. Listen in.
So you said you want Dil Mange more in Lok Sabha polls coming.
Last Lok Sabha we won 9 seats. This time we want to win more seats.
And the new Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council will take oath on June 20th. Incumbent CEM Tuliram Ronghang will lead the new council. It may be mentioned here that this is Tuliram Ronghang's second stint as the CEM of Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council. Well, this has been confirmed by none other than Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, who was in Difu today to attend the state BJP executive meeting. So the new Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council will take oath on June 20th. Incumbent CEM Tuliram Ronghang will lead the new council. It may be mentioned here that this is Tuliram Ronghang's second stint as the CEM of Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council. And this has been confirmed by none other than Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, who was in Difu today to attend the state BJP executive meeting.
When is the council forming and who is going to next year?
On 28th at 12 p.m., new council will take oath and Tuliram Ronghang will be our candidate for the CEM post.
Meanwhile, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma also thanked the people of Karbi Anglong and termed the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council poll results as a huge success for the BJP.
For the first time in the history of election, any political party has got 100 out of 100. So I think this is a unique record in the maybe in the entire country. I have not verified, but in such big election involving lakhs of people, winning 100% is a big event in a local body. Sometime in parliament, assembly, you got 100 upon 100. But in local election, getting 100 upon 100 is a big challenge.
You also said that success, you fear success, 100% success. What do you mean by that?
See, success give you lot of responsibility. When people give you 50 seats, then you feel responsibility up to 50%. But when people give 100%, then you will feel responsible up to 100%. So obviously, to absorb more success, you need lot of courage.
And shifting focus to some other news now. Well, in view of the landmark decision taken by the centre yesterday, Eastern Air Command Air Officer Commanding-in-Chief Air Marshal Dilip Kumar Patnaik said that the new recruitment scheme, Agnipath, approved by the Union Cabinet yesterday, would attract youth to serve in the armed forces as Agniveers for a period of 4 years. Well, speaking to media today, Patnaik said that this is a very unique scheme which the government has come up with after a detailed deliberation whose main focus is for the youth of the country. According to him, the scheme paved an opportunity for the youth to experience military life without having to make long-term commitment or engagement.
The Government of India has announced human resource policy changes, and based on that, all the government departments of Government of India are on the way of issuing guidelines for the new things that are coming the way. At the outset, I would like to say that yesterday, the Honorable Raksha Mantri, as well as the three chiefs of the Army, Navy, and the Air Force, a very, very unique scheme which the government has thought of. It is more for the youth of the country and a requirement of the country that we go ahead with this Agnipath scheme. Part of the Agnipath scheme, we have Agniveers who would be selected to serve the Indian Air Force, similarly for the Indian Army and the Indian Navy for a duration of 4 years. It gives an opportunity for the India's youth to experience military life. The next sentence is very important, without having to make a long-term commitment or engagement. The youth of our country, as we have seen over the years, are better educated and possess a higher exposure to technology as compared to the earlier times. And it envisages enrollment of mostly ITI students, National Skills Qualification Framework candidates, as well as the NCC candidates, ensuring that they are exposed to an improved, tailor-made training curriculum which will enable them to transit quickly and effectively into the Air Force environment. One of the bottom lines is that it is going to start 89 days. Yesterday it was 90 days. It's got 89 days left before it starts rolling. We are very, very particular about the timelines. So 89 days from now, the scheme will start rolling.
India is all set to host the special ASEAN-India Foreign Ministers meeting in New Delhi, marking the 30th anniversary of India-ASEAN Dialogue Relations and the 10th anniversary of the country's strategic partnership with the ASEAN. The meeting will be held for 2 days starting tomorrow. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Singapore Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan, who is India's country coordinator, will co-chair the meeting. Besides the ASEAN, Secretary General and foreign ministers of member countries will participate in the meeting. Indonesian Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi and Spanish Minister of Foreign Affairs Jose Manuel Albares have already arrived in Delhi today for the meeting. And notably, this year has also been designated as ASEAN-India Friendship Year. It may be mentioned here that ASEAN-India Foreign Ministers meeting is an annual event hosted by ASEAN Chair. However, the special ASEAN-India Foreign Ministers meeting is the first ASEAN-India meeting to be hosted by India. Back to region now. Mizoram today observed the 87th anniversary of the formation of Young Mizo Association, or YMA, the apex body of Mizos. The YMA members of each locality and village in Mizoram, as part of the celebration, planted tree saplings, cleaned their villages, and distributed money to the needy. It may be mentioned here that YMA was formed by English missionaries and some Mizo leaders in the year 1935 in Aizawl as Young Lushai Association and was renamed as YMA later. Besides, the YMA is the largest and most comprehensive non-profit, secular, non-governmental organization of the Mizos. The YMA has branches across the state in Mizoram and also in Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, and Bangladesh.
Today is the 87th YMA Day since its inception. YMA was incepted in 1935 and was started by the Christian missionaries and the pioneer missionaries of Mizos. Celebration is, taking place throughout the length and breadth of the state of Mizoram, and even outside the state of Mizoram, in the state of Manipur, Meghalaya, and Tripura, and even in Bangladesh also they are celebrating this YMA Day. The central YMA, gives out some, relief package or charity to different homes, shelter homes, addiction center, motherless baby home, these things. All together, we are distributing 1.4 lakhs of rupees. Then, in addition to that, for the relief of the natural calamities caused by this strong wind in the southern part, in the northern part, in the eastern part, and the middle part of Mizoram, we are distributing a sum of 7.5 lakhs rupees to those needy people. The charity that we have given out that I have mentioned is altogether almost 8 lakhs we have given out. But from the sub-headquarters, Group YMA and the branch YMA, they are also doing that, gifts out of charity to the needy. Then besides that, this blood donation, many branch YMA, donated the blood. Recently, voluntary blood donation, we have received appreciation certificate for, maximum number of, blood donation. The YMA, Central YMA is receiving that kind of appreciation from Association of Voluntary Blood Donation. That is the, how we have taken up. Then today also, many branches going to, take up this tree plantation in wherever, available lands in their locality. So many other social work, cleanliness, then, awareness campaign, different kinds of activities we're going to have today.
India's first private train under the Indian Railways Bharat Gaurav scheme was flagged off on Tuesday. The maiden service left Coimbatore North Railway Station in Tamil Nadu for Sai Nagar Shirdi in Maharashtra. Well, according to a release by Indian Railways, the train which under the scheme will be operated by a private operator, South Star Rail. In this case, will depart from Coimbatore North every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and reach Shirdi at 7:25 a.m. on Thursdays. On its return journey, it will leave Shirdi at 7:25 a.m. every Friday and reach Coimbatore North at 12 noon on Saturdays. On its onward journey, the train will stop at Tirupur, Erode, Salem, Yalahanka, Dharmavaram, Mantralayam Road and Wadi. And the stoppage at Mantralayam Road will be of 5 hours so that tourists can have darshan at the Mantralayam temple. On its return journey, it will make stoppages only at Wadi, Dharmavaram, Yalanka, Salem, Erode, and Tirupur, the release noted. Meanwhile, the theme-based Bharat Gaurav trains were announced in November last year. The objective of the theme is to showcase India's rich cultural heritage as well as the historical places to the people of India and the world. A host of services, including a doctor to attend to any emergency, are available on board. Well, China has announced plans to provide visas to Indian professionals and their families stranded in India for over 2 years following the strict visa restrictions imposed by Beijing due to COVID-19 pandemic. Separately, China is also processing requests of thousands of Indian students studying in Chinese universities who have conveyed their interest to rejoin their colleges and universities. On Monday, the Chinese embassy in India updated its COVID-19 visa policy after over 2 years to accept visa applications of foreign nationals and their accompanying family members wanting to go to China for resumption of work in all fields. Last month, a number of Indian professionals based in China urged External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to press Beijing to allow their stranded families to return. Besides the Indians, the Chinese embassy in New Delhi said that family members of Chinese citizens and foreigners with Chinese permanent residence permits going to China for family reunions or visiting relatives can apply for visas. Besides Indians, some of whom have Chinese spouses, many Chinese employees are working for various companies were also stranded in India due to Beijing's blanket visa bans and flight cancellations. However, visas for tourism and private purposes remain suspended, the Chinese embassy announced said. On to some sports news now. Well, India's Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra set a new national record and finished with a silver medal with a throw of 89.30 meters at the Paavo Nurmi Games in Finland, bettering his own previous national record of 88.07 meters, which he had set in Patiala in March last year. Well, this was Chopra's first outing in international competition since his historic gold medal winning throw of 87.58 meters at the Tokyo Olympics on August 7, 2021. The 89.30 meters throw saw him finish second on the podium at the Paavo Nurmi Games behind the Finnish favourite Oliver Helander, who achieved a personal best of 89.93 meters. Meanwhile, Grenada's world champion Anderson Peters finished third with a throw of 86.60 meters. Chopra's first competitive event after 10 months turned out to be a historical moment as the athlete nearly touched the coveted 90 meters mark, which is considered the gold standard in the world of javelin throw. Chopra's 89.30 meters javelin throw has taken him to the 5th spot on the world season leaders list. The Paavo Nurmi Games, a gold event in the World Athletics Continental Tour, is one of the biggest track and field competitions outside the Diamond League. And after scripting history at Paavo Nurmi Games in Finland, Neeraj Chopra will next compete at Kwanto Games in Finland before heading to Sweden for the Stockholm leg of Diamond League. It was a double win for the Indian football team as they defeated a strong Hong Kong side 4-0 and finished top of the table in third round of AFC Cup qualifiers today. Well, having qualified for the AFC Asian Cup 2023 finals, hours ahead of the Hong Kong match, as Palestine defeated Philippines 4-0 in the qualifiers, India entered the stadium with nothing to lose but their pride. Well, goals from Anwar Ali, Sunil Chetri, Manveer Singh and Ishan Pandita saw India finish top of the table in the third round of AFC Cup qualifiers. Well, India raced to a 1-0 lead with the 21-year-old centre-back Ali scoring his maiden international goal. Chetri then doubled the lead just before the break from a 30-yard free kick to bring up his 4th goal of the tournament. Well, Jackson Singh floated in a brilliant free kick as the keeper controlled it brilliantly with a depth-first touch before calmly slotting it home to notch his 84th international strike. Late into the second half, India attacked on a counter and a cross from the right from Manveer was converted by Pandita. Well, more than 8 hours before their face-off, both the teams confirmed the Asian Cup's final berth, courtesy Palestine's 4-0 win over Philippines, who were eliminated after finishing as the worst runner-up from the 6 groups. And when news and updates continue on Northeast Live, so stay tuned for more news. Thank you.
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
মই ব্যৱহাৰ কৰোঁ আটাইতকৈ সবল আৰু সতেজ সিমেন্ট সূৰ্যা সিমেন্ট অটুট ঘৰ অটুট অসম
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
আগুৱাইছে মোৰ দেশ এক সুন্দৰ ভৱিষ্যতৰ দিশে আঁকোৱালি লৈ ইয়াৰ বিকাশৰ ধাৰাত
एक भारतीय अपने कर्तव्य को सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता देगा, पूरी निष्ठा से उसका पालन करेगा, तो भारत को आगे बढ़ने से कोई रोक नहीं पाएगा।
তেন্তে আপুনিও ৰাষ্ট্ৰীয় নিৰ্মাণৰ বাবে নিজৰ কৰ্তব্য নিষ্ঠাৰ চিন স্বৰূপে নিজৰ এডভান্স টেক্স সময়মতে জমা দিয়ক 2022-23 বিত্তীয় বৰ্ষৰ বাবে এডভান্স টেক্সৰ প্ৰথম কিস্তি 15 জুন 2022ৰ ভিতৰত নিশ্চয় জমা কৰিব কোম্পানীজ কৰ্পোৰেটছ স্যালাৰিড এমপ্লয়িজ অথবা এনে ব্যক্তি অথবা সংস্থা যাৰ টিডিএছ বা টিসিএছ কটাৰ পাছতো দেয় কৰ 10,000 অথবা তাতকৈ অধিক হয় তেওঁলোকৰ বাবে এডভান্স টেক্স দিয়াটো অনিবাৰ্য প্ৰত্যেক আয়কৰ